salaries that our parliamentarians are now going to be getting and compare them to what elsewhere in the Caribbean is paying. So the Prime Minister of Jamaica, for instance...
so we know that these salaries, we've done our homework. So I don't know that these salaries...
You don't want me to share with the public.
Put parliamentarians and ministers in Jamaica higher than any other country in the Caribbean region.
You're trying to stop me from sharing.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so
I am saying to you, I'm familiar with it, and I'm sharing it as well.
Are not. So let me go ahead very quickly. Prime Minister for Jamaica is going to be over 25 million. Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister is 13 million. Bahamas 13. Minister of Finance for Jamaica 21.7 million. Trinidad and Tobago 9 million. I'm quoting everything in Jamaican dollars. Bahamas 10.2 million. In Jamaica, Cabinet Minister will be at 20.2 million, Trinidad and Tobago 9 million, Bahamas 10.2, and an MP in Jamaica will be at 12.5, Trinidad and Tobago 3.8, Bahamas 4.3. How on earth do we justify these levels of salaries in a country that we're certainly doing far worse than Bahamas? And when you look at what is happening elsewhere in the region, there's absolutely no justification for this.
No, certainly. I can't for me one jaw drop like a Sebastian and the Little Mermaid when we hear them numbers. Mama Clark's clarity. What a disparity. Make we see if we can hear the justification.
First of all, Barbados, Trinidad and Bahamas have not entered into a public sector restructuring. The way in which they have recovered from COVID has not put them in a position that they can add this amount to their wage bill to pay their public sectors. Jamaica is the only country in the region coming out of a pandemic that's been able to offer these levels of adjustments to its public service.
Unscathed by COVID, Jamaica came out of the COVID-19 pandemic in a better position economically than the Bahamas, to the extent that we can offer these remuneration packages to our parliamentarians. Come on now, Jamaica. Well done, Jamaica, with the bounce back. Jamaica with the rebound. Hold up, wait, back up, stick a pin. If we have been able to so incredibly immaculately rebound from the COVID-19 pandemic, why is it that when we had discussions about what should be paid to our public sector workers and discussions about things like minimum wage, everybody was being asked to exercise leniency? Everybody in the public sector, which happens to be a significant part of the vertebral column of our economy, were asked to exercise some amount of discretion when it comes on to the negotiations for remuneration. But now we're finding out that Jamaica had a stellarized comeback from COVID-19 to the extent that you are adequately positioned to make historic offerings to your parliamentarians, sir. It no follow at all. Something is missing, sir. Tell us.
Because of what we are going through, the experience that we have, Dion, we are unable to attract and retain the talent that we need to run the public bureaucracy. That is going to change in salaries alone will not fix it, but it will go a long way towards addressing that problem.
You are a sick set of manipulators. Indulge me a minute as we dissect the logic presented. Jamaica has rebounded from COVID in such a fantastically fabulous way that we are now economically positioned to use money as the impetus to attract bureaucratic subset of workers. So against that background, Mr. Minister, when you look at the public sector workers in Jamaica and their remuneration, who exactly are you trying to attract? A dodo bird? An orangutan? A pond couth? A mangy mongrel dog? Because the package that you have offered to them is in no way, shape or form comparative to our Caribbean counterpart, yet you have been able to outdo them in making offerings to the parliamentarians in the name of bureaucratic capabilities. With respect, Mr. Minister, if we were to try to find any semblance of logic in the garbage that you seek to present in the name of a justification, then the typical public sector worker in Jamaica should have been made an offer that is far greater than people working in the same position in the other Caribbean islands, if what you're saying should hold water. And at the same time too, my good man, against the background of your presentation? Are you saying that Audley Shaw and Bobby Montague, Samuda, Mike Henry, Horace Chang, you name them, were of marginal bureaucratic capabilities? Because at the time when you were recruiting those, you never have the kind of bait where you put up, you know. And if your argument holds true, me never see anybody who enter into politics ever try to leave. For the most part, them stay there until them become a wrinkled raisin or a prune. So me not understand what you mean when you talk about trying to attract and retain. What do you mean, sir? My theory is that you did really want a 100% increase. So you say I'm going to ask an exorbitant amount so that by the time the country offers a rebuttal, you can say, alright, we are willing to roll back because we have a conscience. But you come with it. And the PNP, which is supposed to be the opposition, never have no problem with it. Jamaica hardly a pushback. And so now you doubly win. The Wholeness Dynasty will be bringing in excess of 40 million Jamaican dollars into them household over a single year. The man who represents King Charles in Jamaica. I don't know what his job description is. I would love to see what his 9 to 5 constitute. But him carry home in excess of 30 million Jamaican dollars per your proposed salary increase. It's sad, you know. It's sad. It could not sadder.